So next session, hopefully everybody will be able to follow the example.
But either way, like one person can use the workstation and have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. What? It's true. Like, I'm just making sure.
Okay. So Maria, for what you're doing, do you have? Is it something where you have a set of origin and destination pairs? Okay, good. So the main thing, the main app that you'll be using for your data set would be probably this one, the origin and destination CSV maker.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put any CSV file in here. So you can put yours in here. But first you will have to make sure you have one CSV file that has only the origin coordinates,
right,
and then one CSV file that has only the destination coordinates.
Right.
So you might have to separate that beforehand if it's not already.
I think that's how I have it. But like on the files, like doesn't matter. Like the format must matter, right?
That was next thing. So all it needs is an ID for each location. Probably a number.
Right.
But I think maybe it could be anything. I'm not too sure. But probably best to be a number. And then the latitude and longitude.
Mm-hmm.
And the file you supply it can have any other information that you want. You don't need to edit that. That's actually what this app does. So what you will do is once you've entered your origin and destination CSV files in the first two fields, then the next fields ask you which column in the CSV is the ID, and then which is the latitude and which is the longitude. So, for example, these three are for the origin file, and then it asks the same information for the destination file, and then it extracts that for you.
And then it calculates the distances with the distances by itself.
Not on this app. So this app just filters out the data, so you don't have to write a script to do that yourself.
Okay.
And then what you do is go to one of the OpenStreetMap apps, and then supply the output file from this app as the input to one of those apps.
Okay. Can you show me where it was that, like, if I were to upload the CSV file, where would that be?
Data Depot. So I guess for us, it doesn't really matter so much where we upload it.
Okay.
I think it would probably be convenient to have a folder though for everyone. Everyone will get their own folder in the root. We can do that with the TAC account, since you're assuming that you use your own TAC account to log into the portal instead of mine.
Yeah, I know everybody's
So, for example, Kevin already has his own folder, Kevin 7. This is my own folder. Only annoying thing is that it might be hard to find. But otherwise, everyone can have their own folder. And then what will happen is that if you're logged into your own account, then when you go to run an app and you type in the output archive location, then it will archive it to your personal folder. So, and then you can specify where in your personal folder you want the output files.
So can we do that for one person? Because everybody has tag accounts and they are added to the project.
Mm-hmm. So you want to add the folders?
Create a folder for Avoidance.
Mm-hmm. I said this in my thesis, I think, the defense. So for an actual deployment, we can set it so that way this page only directs to your own folder.
Right.
So you can't see anyone else's folder. But for development, you can see everything just to make it easier. All right, so let me add Mario's. Okay, so where we were last time is I think in the origin and destination CSV maker. So we're going to run this twice, once for the county depot pairs and then for the depot biorefinery pairs. So first, for the county depot pairs, we're going to want to add the county CSV file goes here, and the depot CSV file goes in the destination. So go to where you have those files. Okay, so we're going to drag the county's CSV into the origin field, and now we're going to find the destination file.
I see.
Yeah.
Are you done? With classes? Alright.
So now we're going to drag and drop the destination coordinates, which are the rail stations.csv, into the destination field. And now you're going to want to go to where you downloaded those two files on your local system, which will probably be in the downloads folder. So first, start with the counties. Open that. And now note the column numbers that have the ID and the latitude and longitude. So the ID is the second column, and so for the next field, it's enter the column number of the origin file that contains the ID. So that's 2 for the second column. Then so the latitude is column 9. So for the next one, enter 9. So the next is the longitude, and the longitude is column 10. So you're going to enter 10 in that field. Now go to the rail stations. Those are the destinations. For the rail stations, this is the ID. So we're going to go here. So this it says enter the column number of the destination file that contains the ID. So that's the first column. So enter 1. Now the column number that contains the latitude is I think it's 8. Let's see. Actually, no, it's 9. So for this, it's reversed. I think x2 is the latitude and x1 is the longitude. So x2 being the latitude is column 9, so enter 9 in that field. And then column 8 then is the longitude, so we enter 8.
Do you have the same column for origin and destination?
No. So these 3 are for the origin, and then these 3 are the columns for the
But
destination.
9 is on both.
That's just a coincidence. So maximum job runtime, maybe just do, well, let's see, just do 2 hours, maybe do 2 or 4 hours when you're unsure, but it should just take a few minutes at most. I'll type my name. Actually, I'm going to call this Counties Depots CSV. Now for the archive location, again go to the folder you originally made, and then also title this Counties Depots CSV. Check. I'm now do run. Right, submitted. So now I'm going to show this again because now the Agave CLI is working. So you're going to want to scroll to make sure you're at the end of the window, then scroll up until you see where it has all this text here that looks like it's related to the field. And now find the UUID, which is, it's always going to look like this. So just find a number that looks kind of like this. It'll be a different number, but kind of the same format. So now copy it. And now we're going to go over to a different terminal, which is this terminal is in the Agave CLI bin. So you go to the Agave CLI folder in your home folder, then bin, and then open a terminal there. And then you're going to want to use this command, auth tokens -refresh-s. And again, you only need to do this every 4 hours. So enter that, and it will give you a new token. And then now you're going to want to use the command /jobs-history -v, and then paste your ID. Okay, so this isn't working, but it will, again, as I said last time, it will show all the notifications here. So next step after you've done the counties depots is to do the same steps with the same app, but for the depots and the biorefineries. And for example, maybe name it depots CSV or something like that. So now and then after you do that, we can. So the next step would then be to get the distances. So let's do the street distances first. So this is for if we're going to do just a single state, for example, instead of a general region. So go to OSARM distances. Now, so for here, if you want to do just one state, not multiple states or a region, just one state, then the fields you're going to fill out are the first, second, and then this one. You will leave these two blank. So this is probably really relevant right now. So this last option is where you choose the map for the state. Right now I just have these, but I can expand on that. And the files for these maps have already been processed through the OpenStreetMap or Open Routing Machine preprocessor, and they live on the TAC Stampede 2. So if you're doing a single state, it helps to do that because that will speed up the runtime of this, since you don't have to do that first step. So for the first field here, you're going to enter the CSV file for the origin coordinates. That would be the file that was created from that previous origin destination CSV file app that we were doing. So say we want to do the county depot distances for streets, then this will be the counties, and this will be the depots. So for counties, let's go to where that is. Right. So the folder that's located in is from the previous run of this app is counties depot CSV. So now in the counties depot CSV file, we see the origin.csv and destination.csv. So I'm going to drag the origin.csv into the first field, and then the destination.csv into the second field. Then you're going to choose your state. So, for example, Texas. I think I might have the map for Texas on there. The runtime. This one will depend on how big your files are. So maybe try 6 hours. This is kind of arbitrary. If you think you have something that's going to take a really long time, and you don't know how long, you probably want to put 48 hours on this. That's the maximum runtime. Now for the job name, do counties, depots, distances. Right, now you're going to run. Right, it's submitted. So once again, you're going to go to the console that's running the portal. Go down to the end and then scroll up. Find the UUID. Copy that.
I'm missing some.
Copy that, and then go to the terminal that's in the Agave CLI bin, and then run jobs history. See if it works. No, there's still something up with it. So
can you try this word to go.agave to show the job?
So the next app we're going to run will be the railroad distances. So for example, we're going to do the from the depots to the biorefineries. So go to the railroad distances app. So for this, there are just two inputs. There's a CSV file that contains the origin coordinates, and the CSV file contains the destination coordinates. And these are the CSV files that you generated from this app, but for the depots biorefineries pair. So now I'll go and find those files. All right. Just one thing to note is that we don't need to use any or mess with any maps for the railroad distances because the on Stampede 2 we already have the entire railroad network for the U.S. and that's what it automatically uses. so you don't need to worry about the maps. So all you need to do is enter the origin and destination coordinates. So now you're at the folder that has the Depot and Biorefinery CSV files that you created from this app. So drag the origin, that CSV file, to the first field. Drag the destination CSV file to the second field. And then enter the job runtime. This one can take a while, so this one maybe I'll do 24 hours. It takes 18 hours for the South Central region. So I'll just do 24 just to be on the safe side. So job name, right now click run.
I heard like somebody.
That's
Oh, that's
the other AP is not working. That's why the CLI job presentation. It is just accepting the job, but it's not accepting any other communication.
Okay. Alright, so it's submitted. Now once again, make sure go to your terminal or into the portal, make sure you're all the way at the end, then scroll up to where you see all this text. Copy and paste the find a UUID and copy, go to your CLI terminal, do jobs history, and paste that, and then you can monitor the job. So this one, well, this is probably one of the, well, it is the longest one. So you should expect that it will take, for Texas, probably maybe 9 hours or 6 to 9 hours, and for the South Central region, about 18 hours. Okay, so once this is finished, and the street map distances are finished, then they can finally run the optimization model. So you're going to want to go to optimization model 2, not this one, but this one. If you want to get rid of this, I'm going to refresh that. Okay, so this is basically going to use all of the files that you generated from all the other apps. Now, I think at this point we can skip going through all this because that's going to take probably another 30 minutes to get all these files. So I'll just explain what each field corresponds to. So this first field will be the supplier county coordinates. Actually, it's a little difficult to explain how I did that. So for this one, we can go to the folder where you have the county depot CSV that was made in this one, and get the origin, the one labeled origin. I think. Okay, so I think I misspoke. You're going to want to use the files that were made from this app. So for the files for that app, for example, are counties, rail stations, biorefineries. And so go to your folder where you have these, the output from this app, and then drag and drop the one titled counties. So for example, this, but from here, counties. And then for this, you're going to want to do rail stations.csv. And then for the third one, you're going to want to do biorefineries.csv. Now for the fourth field, that will be your filtered KDF CSV file, which will be the output file from the KDF data filter. For the next field is going to be the street map distances. Now for this one, make sure you use the file titled distance matrix rather than the table. This will be the file that's output from the OSRM distances app. For the next field, those will be the railroad distances. So for this one, you're going to want to use the table, not the matrix. So it's going to be called railroad distances.csv, I think. And that's what was output from running this app. And then the rest will be the parameters for the optimization model. So you're going to want to choose your base year, your number of technologies, number of scenarios, the realization probabilities for each scenario. You're going to want to calculate the bioethanol demand. Then enter the third-party cost. Here's biorefinery investment, depot investment, connection OP setting, moisture content, moisture cost, ash content, ash cost, production capacity, production yield, pre-processing capacity, unit train capacity, truck distance cost, truck loading cost, train distance cost, and train fixed cost. That's a lot. But
I'm guessing the truck distance cost doesn't have a unit associated with it, so would that just be dollars per mile or something like that? Or mile, yeah.
I'm not sure, is it dollars per mile? Or
Which one?
Or is it per kilometer?
Truck distance cost. No, actually, that one is per ton.
Distance?
Yeah. So we have, so for example, the cost is like 2.5 tons per kilometer.
What? How is that a cost then?
well, it's an optimization cost, right? Not a dollar cost.
We have a regression equation for that. So
Yeah, no,
So
that
they-
needs to be specified.
so the input for the cost is the distance. So for that regression equation, and with the distance, you calculate like what is the unit cost per ton.
Right.
So I think I don't know, I need to double check it.
No, like all I'm saying is that it needs to have all the units.
Oh, okay.
Because what you're saying is completely different from what I would think to put there. Like I would think to put there like
You mean
Like
the units like
kilometers?
this?
yeah, like that. So that I can
I-
tell that's tons.
I think it might be unitless because on all the other ones I have the units. Is it dimensionless or?
No, I think it has a mention.
But either way, even if it's unitless, like if I were using this, I would think, oh, it has to be in terms of dollars or dollars per mile, because otherwise, what do I put there? You know, because it says truck distance cost. So, like an equation or something explaining that relation would be nice next to it. Same thing for train distance cost. I'm guessing it's a similar relationship.
Yeah, I can have that. All right, so then after you enter all those, again, enter your job runtime. This will depend strongly on the heuristics that you're using. It can vary from just a few minutes to many hours, depending on that. Again, in doubt, probably just set it for 48 hours. Enter your job name, output location, and then run. And then again, go through find the UUID, and then you can monitor the job on your Agave command line interface.
Is there a way of knowing if there's an error?
There are a few. So if there's an error with submitting the job, it will show.
Okay.
It'll have instead of the green job submitted, it will have a red banner that says job failed, and then you can go to your console here. Again, you can look for that wall of text. I think I'm not sure if that there will be.
Like the number.
There will be something in here that will explain why it failed. Although if it it might fail, for example, because you haven't entered in all the required fields, for example. But it might also have a back-end problem that you would then have to delve into the files to fix.
Right. And you have to, like, remember how I was saying that mine doesn't have refineries?
Yeah. So, I tailor-made this just for the Counties Depot biorefinery. So, what I can do is modify this to be more general. So that way we can use any combination or any type of thing like that. So another thing about the errors is if you have an error with the actual code you're running, then it will. So if the error will probably cause the job to finish early, and so you wait until this tells you that the job is complete, and then you'll go into your data depot and look for the folder where you had all those files. Then there will be an error and a log file where it will log all the different errors and files that happened with your code.